Miami Dolphins versus the San Diego Chargers. Today's game is brought to you by the 1985 Jetta, the new affordable German road car from Volkswagen. By the people of AT&T Communications. We're thinking about your business in ways you never thought of. And by the new Michelin XA4 all-season radio. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
And welcome to San Diego Stadium. The temperature around 70 degrees. Partly cloudy skies. Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen, the Miami Dolphins, looking for their 12th consecutive win this year. 17 straight regular season. Receive it, and that's Fulton Walker at the 12. Walker in the clear at the 30. 40. Walker at the 50, and he's out of bounds at the San Diego 48-yard line. Fulton Walker, who 3 years ago took one back for a touchdown in the Super Bowl, gets the all-victorious Dolphins off to a running start.
Walker takes this ball and does what a good return man ought to do. Pops upfield, gets away from a broken tackle there. Rolf Bernerschke, number 6, trying to get him to the sideline. Now watch what happens at the end of this run. He goes right over the top of Dan Fouts, right here. Just lowered his shoulder, and Fouts said, wait a minute, you're out of bounds here.
41 yards to match the number on his jersey. First down, Dolphins at the San Diego 48. Marino to Clayton. Mark Clayton skips inside the 40 and out of bounds at the 38 near a first down. Let's check the offense for the Miami Dolphins of Don Shula at quarterback. Incredible sophomore in the NFL, Dan Marino from Pittsburgh. Tony Nathan and Woody Bennett, the running backs. Mark Clayton, Mark Dubert, 2 sprinters on the outside with Dan Johnson. He runs some wiggly patterns, too, at tight end. Giesler, Foster, Stevenson, Newman, and Green in the offensive line for Miami. Kuchenberg and Loxo, 2 starters of last year, are out for this year. Clayton, 9 yards on that first down play at 2nd and 1. First carry for Tony Nathan, and he has a first down inside the 35-yard line. Keith Guthrie, starting today for Bill Elko on the nose, made the tackle, and there the front 3 for the Chargers. Linebackers and the strength of the defense, King, Green, Billy Ray Smith of Arkansas having a big year. Woody Lowe, the veteran, and there the defensive backs, Bird and Turner. Green and Fox, probably the weakness of this defense, especially against the speed of the Miami wide receivers. First down. Marino to throw as we welcome those of you who have been watching other action on NBC, and almost a touchdown to Duper. Was out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Miami taking the opening kickoff, and they have moved smartly after a 41-yard kickoff return by Fulton Walker downfield, and here's Duper.
This typifies the mismatch that we will see all day long. The speed of Miami, the throwing arm of Dan Marino, and that's John Turner trying to cover, but almost impossible. Look at how quickly Marino gets rid of that ball when he decides to throw. It just whips that ball out. Beautiful pass. He's got him down on the 2-yard line with a first down.
Less than a minute, or a minute and a second gone in the game, and it's 1st and goal. Bennett and Johnson are in. This is Woody Bennett. He fumbles, and San Diego recovers. They'll get it at the 20-yard line. How do you do? Ken Green recovered the fumble.
That's the kind of play that the Chargers need to stay in this ball game. They need a few miracles. Woody Bennett bucking up inside, met a wall of blue-shirted Chargers, and the ball stripped by Lyndon King, number 57, coming from the outside, and 2 alert Chargers down there to pounce on that football. They have the safety. No touchdown, no points in the early going for Miami, and what looked to be a sure 7-point start for them now turns out to be the ball in the Chargers' hands.
So Bennett fumbling at the 1. The Chargers cover. Green gets it, and it's first down for Dan Fouts and company at the San Diego 20. Fouts predictably out-throwing Wes Chandler, and he's captured at the 22. Interestingly, both coaches had the same play to start the game. That's exactly a copy of the play Miami used when they first had the ball. Fouts with Ernest Jackson, number 2 in rushing in the American Conference. Charlie Joyner going for the all-time NFL record. He needs 9 to break Charlie Taylor's mark. Wes Chandler, 2 tight ends, Severs and Holohan. The The offensive line of Clapham, Wilkerson playing in his 200th game, Masek, McKnight, and the veteran Ed White. Second down and 7. Jackson playing with a broken hand, and he's near a first down. William Judson at the corner tripped him up. It'll be third and less than 2. Defensively for Miami, Betters leading in sacks again this year with Baumhauer in the nose and Beaucamp back from an injury. Brodzinski, Dewey, Roan, and Bowser the backers. Paul Langford and Bill Judson at the corners, and the Blackwood boys are at safety.
Dolphins stacking 2 linemen right on Don Masek's nose at center on that last play. They're doing the same thing, overshifting the 3 linemen to the left side.
Third and a long yard, and Fouts to throw for it to Jackson. He has the first down at the 32-yard line. Rodell Thomas, number 54, spirited defense, but San Diego that gets the first down.
Inside, good job of protection right there, holding Baumhauer down. Now watch Jackson go for the yardage here. Knew where the markers were. He dropped that football, but got back on it in time to cover it. Jackson playing today with a broken hand. Broke it last week in the Denver ball game. A light cast on it, but that may prove to be a problem for him during the day.
Wayne Morris in motion. And a draw to Jackson. Good quickness at first step, and Jackson, who's pressing Freeman McNeil for rushing honors in the AFC, has 6 more. Other scores in the early games: Seattle wins its 10th against just 2 losses at Cincinnati. The Giants back in a share of first place with a win 16-10 against the Cardinals. 43-10 New England romping at Indianapolis. We'll see them Thanksgiving Day at Dallas. Philadelphia, team that almost beat Miami last week in the Orange Bowl, leading Washington at home. Chicago has defeated Detroit in the final second, 16-14. Second and 4 for Fouts. Again to Jackson, keeping him busy. And Ernest Jackson appears to have another first down or close to it before Brodzinski can make the stop. He's going to be shy a yard. Look at that one. Buffalo 14-3. They had some snow this morning in Buffalo, and it's been cold on Dallas. Cleveland has won at Atlanta. Last count, they had 11 sacks of Bartkowski as the Browns win for Schottenheimer. And the Rams have been defeated by Green Bay 31-6. The Packers, after a dismal start, have won 4 in a row. Ernest Jackson has been called upon as a runner or receiver 4 straight times, and it's 3rd and 1. And it's this time it's number 21, Buford McGee from Mississippi, and he slams up the middle for what appears to be a first down. Brodzinski and Beaucamp in the Killer Bees defense there to make the hit.
Baumhauer submarining under Masek, who just buries him. And there comes the little misdirection play over the middle. Linebackers diving up inside, but great second effort. You saw how McGee twisted his body, got his feet back on the ground, and lunged forward. He's very close to that first down, Dick. In fact, I think he has it.
They stretch out the chains. It is a first down. Well, if you are a college senior and you like Miami, probably would help if your last name started with B. They've got 7 starters on defense that have a B initiating their last name, and 5 more in reserve. If you're a Brown or a Blackwood or Barnett, Baumhauer, Betters, Beaucamp, Brophy, it goes on and on. Ernest Jackson. Move by Jackson, and he's in Miami territory at the 48-yard line. Rodell Thomas knocked him out of bounds.
You might even have a chance to feel like you're going to make the tackle here as Jackson runs right at the cameras. He makes 2 excellent moves. First, breaking to the inside, seeing there was no room outside. Now watch him come back outside. Does a good job of getting away from Glenn Blackwood there, and finally driven out of bounds. But that's the kind of acceleration. He is a slashing kind of runner. He has certainly brought some real power to this running game of the San Diego offense, and that's something that they have hurt for quite a while. And of course, without Muncy, whom they lost early in the season, they had to go to a young man that hadn't really figured in their plans, Dick.
Texas A&M Ernest Jackson has a first down, 10 more yards. He started today, as you saw, with 8:26, just 17 behind Freeman McNeil of the Jets. The Jets are in Houston.
if there is an exploitable defense on this Miami team, it's in their ability to stop the run. Teams have been averaging 4.7, actually 4.8 yards rushing the football, and Fouts knows that very well as he's run a great deal coming down the field.
For Chandler, but misses him at the 32. In fact, the 4.8 is the worst in the league in stopping the run, the worst average. So Miami can be exploited on the ground. Passing leaders, Lomax, Marino, and Fouts. So you're seeing two of the very best, and as Merlin offered his grades of the talents of the veteran Fouts now in his 12th year, and the second-year man Marino, we indeed should be blessed with some very interesting aerial pyrotechnics today.
I don't know where you can find better quarterbacks than these, Dick.
Jackson to the 45. Bring up a passing down. Kim Beaucamper from San Jose State, who missed a few games. Freak accident. He broke a small bone in his ankle in warm-ups a month or so ago.
I asked him who fell on him. I said one of his teammates, and he said, you look at this defensive line. Who is the biggest and most awkward and clumsy? You know, of course, Baumhauer is listening to this. It was Baumhauer that fell on him in the pregame warm-up, and that often happens.
10th play of the drive after the fumble by Miami at the one that went into the end zone for the touchback. That's Joyner and Chandler shifting right. So a triple right for Fouts. And he's looking down the middle. Open is Chandler. Kozlowski knocks it away. Mike Kozlowski, who played his high school ball just up the road in Encinitas, California, and then went on to Colorado.
Fouts angry at himself. That ball slightly underthrown. Joyner had to try and get back to it, had to cut his speed a little bit. Kozlowski able to cover some ground, catch up with the receiver, and knock that football away. But that's the kind of defensive play he's made repeatedly for the Miami Dolphins.
In the kick, Maury Buford. Kozlowski joins Fulton Walker deep. Drills that one. That looks as if it's going to go well into the end zone, and does. So it looked good in the air, but it's only in net 25 yards, 45 to Buford, and the Dolphins take over at the 20-yard line. Well, Dan Marino, who has been on a rampage, 30 touchdown passes in 11 games, 14, but he's done it in 11 games. Duper. That's why they call him Super Duper. One-handed.
A lot of fast wide receivers aren't blessed with this kind of athletic talent. Look at the way he goes up to control that football. Very soft hands, and then still with the presence and the ability to get those feet comfortably down inside that line and step out of bounds. I'll tell you, Miami knows that they have more speed virtually across the ball in their wide receivers, and they will push San Diego all day long on the passing game.
More speed than anyone perhaps ever in the NFL. Woody Bennett, who fumbled at the goal line that cost Miami a score, and the Chargers are swarming on Bennett.
Tremendous penetration by Woody Lowe, 51. Let's watch Duper try and get a little block here. He's coming down one-on-one on Turner right there. John Turner got in position and kept Turner. Thinks he's an offensive lineman, too.
Nat Moore and Jimmy Cefalo join Duper and Clayton, 4 wideouts, as Marino will go to the shotgun on third down and 3.
They'll really confuse you. They move all over the field.
Going for it all. Oh, through the fingertips of Duper. Oh, you can't throw a bomb any better than that. A flag is down.
We have an offsides against San Diego, but I believe that Gil Bird just touched that football, just brushed it. And that will, when he's so close to the receiver, very often when you're expecting that ball in a certain position and you're not able to handle it if the defensive man can tap it. I believe that's what happens here. Watch number 22.
Offside.
Stepping in.
Defense.
Well, maybe not.
76.
Maybe just got his hand in there, but certainly bothered the concentration of the receiver, and it did fall to the ground. We do know that.
Well, that's why there's so many superlatives surrounding the name of Marino and Duper. Duper with the speed to get deep, and that ball on a line was right there in stride.
Marino can swing that football. He just puts it out there and lets him run underneath it.
Brings Clayton in motion this time on the penalty offside. First down for Miami. Ooh, this Clayton nailed. Tim Fox coming over to make the play. He's all right, is Clayton.
Well, we took a peek at number 85, Mark Duper. Let's look at the other side of that tandem. It's this Mark Clayton, and he's going to take a shot from Tim Fox at the end of this thing that will rattle his teeth. Goes up for the football, and there is Fox right into Clayton's back and rear end, but Clayton bounced right up, went back like nothing had happened, Dick.
Lee Williams, number 99, now moves into the defensive line. His better pass rusher, played in the USFL earlier this year, had 11 sacks. Tony Nathan out of bounds at about the 37-yard line. 7 minutes, 54 seconds remaining in this, the opening quarter. Billy Ray Smith and John Turner with that last tackle after a 5-yard gain, 3rd and 5.
Don Shula exhorting his troops a little bit on the far sideline. And this Miami defense in the game last week, or not Miami, the San Diego defense in the game against Denver last week, I think played the finest game I've seen them play in a number of years, Dick. And they're starting today with some of that same intensity. They're out there giving Miami a tussle on that line of scrimmage and doing a good job on the running game so far.
Clayton right, Duper left, shotgun, 3rd and 5. What a throw, and first down to Cephalo at the 47-yard line. Oh, he has
so hard to cover people when you get this much time to throw. There's a lot of time. Marino actually had to put that past the official. I think Cephalo was using the official as a screen to get free on that play.
And he was well covered. Look where the little room that Marino has to complete this pass.
So confident in his arm, but look at that, how quickly he's able to get that ball off. Williams finally there to push him down. He didn't see the reception, but it was a good one.
First down play, Nathan, 50, and he is to the San Diego 45-yard line. No score here in San Diego with 7 minutes left first quarter. Let's go to New York.
Dick, the Buffalo Bills finally won one. They did it at the expense of the Cowboys. First play from scrimmage, Greg Bell, 85 yards for the touchdown. The Bills win it 14-3. Meanwhile, Washington loses to Philadelphia. The Giants beat the Cardinals. 3-way tie. New York, Dallas, and Washington atop the NFC East. St. Louis a game back. Dick?
All right, Bob, and with 4 games to go, well, that wild card has really made things interesting. And how about Buffalo? The Bills saved Dallas for their first scalp. On a first down play, Tony Nathan has ripped off a couple of fine games. 11 yards on that carry and another first down. New England 43-17. That one not a final yet against Indianapolis, so New England will see them against Dallas Thanksgiving Day. Philadelphia winning 16-10.
Miami, first down.
7-0. Jets have scored early at Houston. Minnesota sees a Denver score 7-0 in the first quarter. That's at Mile High Stadium.
Broncos continue to surprise us all, Dick.
Yeah, they saw that Seattle score. Tight end Dan Johnson still on his feet. That's going to cost him yardage as he's knocked back 5. He gets only a 1-yard gain. Ken Green with a solid defensive play. The Washington State grad put the hit on Dan Johnson.
The obvious concern of this San Diego defense is what do you do when you can't run with the wide receivers of Miami? And what they're doing so far is to play strictly zone defenses. They have not yet played a man-to-man defense. They drop everybody deep, and they're going to try and force Marino to be patient and work his way down the field.
Second down, 9. Down the middle. And it's intercepted by the Chargers. John Turner. 2 turnovers.
Well, how do you neutralize an explosive offense? You take the football away from them. They were able to shake it loose on a fumble from Woody Bennett early, and now they go up and strip the football away from the receiver. John Turner doing the honors. Took it away from Bruce Hardy, number 84. Here's the play. Hardy had it in his hands briefly, but when Turner came down, now if they both have control of that football on the ground, the ball goes to the offense. Marino had it on target, but Turner able to take it away, and Marino knows right here he heads for the sideline.
So the Chargers recovering a fumble in their own end zone for a touchback. Now the interception at the 7. And Fouts goes to work. At the 27-yard line, Lyle Blackwood puts the hit on Eric Sievers.
Number 42, Lyle Blackwood.
Two Blackwoods. There are 20 sets of brothers in the NFL, but only 2 playing on the same team. Lyle and Glenn with Miami, and the 2 Fawnhorse at San Francisco. You played with your brother Phil with the Rams and against him, and your younger brother Orrin at Kansas City. Get time later. I'd like to ask you, what are the pluses and the minuses of having a brother as a teammate?
Well, there certainly are some of both, Dick.
He's got it at the 49-yard line. So Fouts from his end zone just threw it high and let Duckworth, a former high school decathlete, out-duel the defense. A flag down, but it was against Miami, I believe.
Actually, a bad pass by Fouts, well underthrown, but it turned out to be the perfect kind of pass.
Pass interference. Number 42 on the defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
41 yards.
It looked like the ball got away from him a little bit. Duckworth at the bottom of your screen, just going deep on William Judson, 49. Now right here, Duckworth sees the football, cuts it off short, and steps back inside to make the grab. I think they meant Judson was there to interfere because Blackwood did not get there until right at the end of the play.
First down at the Miami 49. Ernest Jackson. Solid run by Jackson, who has it to the 42-yard line. Doug Betters and Ernie Rohn made the tackle.
Excellent quickness by Jackson on that play. He's showing us some fine cutting ability. He really, earlier in the year, was just slashing and running at full bore up into the line of scrimmage. Now appears to be using his quickness to cut against the grain a little better. A fine run there. He looked like he came away limping a little bit, and that would certainly concern Don Coryell on the sideline as you see his intensity.
Jackson again shy of the first down by about a yard at the 40. Rohn made the hit. Well, Charlie Joyner, the veteran wide receiver from Grambling, his 16th year in the league, 37 years of age, and he is 8 away from Charlie Taylor's all-time record. 9 to break it. There are the numbers. Taylor, the Hall of Famer. And it's interesting that both Taylor and Joyner started in the league at another position. Taylor was a running back and Joyner a defensive back. In fact, Joyner was commenting on how Lance Allworth beat him when he was at Houston at a defensive back position. Jackson looking for the first down, has that and more to the 34-yard line.
At the point of attack, the Chargers doing a good job of pushing that Miami defense off the ball. Jackson there to take advantage of it. White going inside. McKnight, number 60, coming outside. Wilkerson, 63, there to block. Good blocks by the pulling guards, but Jackson just ran right by them there to pick up that first down.
These two teams can move the ball. Jackson, and they're waiting for him in the middle of the Miami defense that time. Betters and Rohn and company.
Dick, last week, the Chargers really had to go without Sievers and Holohan, their 2 tight ends. Ron Egloff, who's a journeyman out of Denver, actually did a good job for them in that position, but their offense is so heavily concentrated on the movement of those tight ends and getting them the football that it's very difficult when they're banged up. Both Holohan and Sievers playing today, coming off injuries, and Fouts showing you what he can do when he has a healthy cast of characters.
50-17, the Patriots beat Indianapolis. Tatupu had a couple of runs for scores. Tony Eason 4 touchdown passes. Lots of time for Fouts. And Holohan has a first and goal at the 8-yard line.
The number 88, Steve Holohan.
Miami Dolphins do a good job of protecting their two safeties, the Blackwood brothers, who are not the speediest of safeties in the league. They were able to get down. That's actually Ernest Roan covering on Holohan there, although the safeties were backing up in that situation. And Fouts threaded the needle, put it right through the crowd and into the hands of his receiver.
22 yards on the play, first and goal. The Chargers' most serious threat. A minute and a half remaining first quarter. Jackson. Oh, was he struggling one man away from a touchdown, and it was Charles Bowser, number 56, who kept Jackson from the end zone.
Again, Jackson doing a good job of setting up those defensive players and then cutting back inside. He'll be running in behind 63 Wilkerson, the good block of Wayne Morris, 25. And look how he just dipped inside, came back outside, and used his power. Bowser saved the touchdown there with a shoestring tackle.
Second and goal. With 3 men behind Fouts. Full house backfield. Buford McGee gets only a yard. Dewey finished him off, but it was Roan underneath the pile.
That's an old power T with those 3 backs back there. One of the things that Coryell and his offensive staff had to do because of the injuries to their tight ends, they made some pretty heavy changes, and they started using 2 backs and 3 backs. Made a big difference for them.
We welcome those of you who have been watching New England and the Colts. Those of you in the New England area and the Midwest. Patriots, of course, for those of you here in San Diego and watching our game, 50-17 win over the Colts. No score here. The Chargers third and goal at the 3. Fouts, touchdown! Eric Sievers.
San Diego crowd getting a chance to celebrate. They left here awfully sad last week after a close loss to Denver, and one of the reasons they could not play better against those Broncos, they were without Sievers, without Holohan. You see the difference those tight ends make here.
Panerska to try the extra point, and he has it. A 93-yard drive after the interception by John Turner. It took Fouts 10 plays using Jackson on the ground, a couple of key throws, and this one 3 yards for the touchdown to Eric Sievers. Had enough time to spot Sievers, and yes, sir, 16 touchdown throw of the year for Fouts. 7-0. Only the second time all year that Miami has not scored first in a game. Of course, they lost 2 opportunities. We'll update you on that for those of you who were not with us at the start. Colton Walker hammered at the 22-yard line by Buford McGee. Walker returned the opening kickoff 41 yards, and Miami moved very quickly downfield, only to fumble into the end zone. San Diego recovering. First quarter. Marino from his 22. The quickie, is it complete? No, they're going to say that ball bounced in, as Dan Johnson did a good job of not hesitating. He was headed downfield.
Looked like a good third baseman as he scooped that one up.
Let's just recap what happened in this first quarter. Miami moved steadily downfield, fumbled into the end zone. San Diego had a couple of first downs punted. Miami took it right back again, but Marino was intercepted at the San Diego 7 by John Turner. And Fouts then led the Chargers 93 yards in 10 plays and capped it off with a 3-yard touchdown throw to Sievers to make it 7-0. We have 18 seconds left in the quarter. There, 54.
Wilkerson working on his ankle on the sideline. Dick, let's just set it for our audience. This is a mismatch on the field in terms of speed. So much speed on Miami's side and so little in the defensive secondary for the Chargers.
And 7. 4 wide receivers against 5 defensive backs. Marino in a shotgun. That'll be a first down of the veteran Nat Moore, the all-time pass catcher in Miami history. Came in for the big play. That's his 29th this season. He's over 400 in his Dolphin career.
17 yards on the pickup. And Dick, quickly, let's look at the difference in the approach of these two offensive teams. Miami with a heavy emphasis on their wide receivers, 150 passes. Look at the 122 by San Diego to their tight ends. They're going to the talented players. They're going to their strength with those offensive passes.
And Marino looking for that wide speed. Throws underneath it to the tight end Hardy. A gain of about 8. Here it's 7-0 San Diego. Let's check on other action to New York.
Moments ago at the Coliseum in L.A., Bill Kenny, under a heavy rush, is hit by Mike Davis of the Raiders. Rod Martin scoops up the loose ball, breaks a tackle, and goes 77 yards for a touchdown. You might have seen a flag on the play. It was against the Chiefs. The score holds up, 7-0 Raiders.
Oh, it's like Rod Martin invented that play. He's always scooping up one and going for a score. Second down and short, and Tony Nathan, 45-40. He's all the way to the San Diego 35-yard line. The former Alabama star, tackled by Tim Fox after a 21-yard romp.
Nathan doing a great job last week in that game against Philadelphia. Not used as much early in the year, really coming into his own now. Using good quickness here to break outside. A gaping hole torn in that San Diego defense. Nathan made the most of it, works it all the way down to the 35, and well, the Miami offense has made a lot of yardage. They have not made the points, and Dick, this is the second time all year that they have not put points on the board first. Last week was the first time that didn't happen.
Clayton in motion. What do we have here? Marino. And then a little dump off to Johnson. And that little pass goes all the way to the 12-yard line. So Bennett to Marino to tight end Dan Johnson. And Johnson of Iowa State all alone goes to the 12.
If you want to be a confused young man, imagine what those linebackers are doing. They're thinking run, then they know it's pass. Marino wanted to go deep. Couldn't get it deep, but his tight end, Johnson, is open on that. Just flips it outside. Here's the linebacking problems on that play. You saw Billy Ray with a good reaction when he finally recognized pass, but nobody, unfortunately, covering Dan Johnson on the far side.
Lyndon King made the tackle, 23 yards on the pass. First down at the San Diego 13. Woody Bennett. And the Chargers seem to have his number. Keith Ferguson, 76, and 51 Woody Lowe on the stop.
Good play by the right side of that Charger defense. And they have been tough against the run today. Actually, they have played the run pretty well all year long, averaging about 3.9 per rush. And as we mentioned, Miami's defense giving up 4.8. That's almost a yard difference on the average. They have been vulnerable to the pass. They're last in the league against the passing game. But part of that because of the severe injuries that have just crippled their defensive backfield.
They go with 5 defensive backs. Marino second and 11. Reliable receiver right through his hands. Mark Duper in the first quarter had a touchdown pass slip through his fingertips.
Sometimes you want to do too much. And Nathan, thinking about where he was going to go with that football, simply took his concentration off the ball. He turns away. Watch him here. Before that ball was tucked away, you saw the head turn? You've got to catch the football first, and that's the most elementary problem for a receiver. And Nathan knew it the minute that ball bounced away.
Well, he had nothing but running room. Third and long. Touchdown, Clayton, and a flag is down. Mark Clayton, if it counts, his 11th touchdown of the season.
I believe we're going to have a penalty on the defender on that play as Clayton had cut inside. John Turner working one-on-one.
Interference. Number 27 on the defense. Penalty is declined. Touchdown.
Marino showing you the strength of his throwing arm on that play. Clayton actually pretty well covered, but Marino is so strong and so confident of his passing arm that he just rips the ball in there anyway. And you look how closely that man was covered, and yet Clayton able to hang on to the football, and you saw the late flag, but of course it's a touchdown.
Uwe von Schamann to try the extra point. Don Strock to hold. This to tie. Ooh, and that one almost took yellow paint on its way. 7-all. Dan Marino's 31st touchdown pass of this season with 11:59 remaining in the first half. And the unbeaten Dolphins are even in San Diego. The time, but this is the Express in 84. Less than 3.5 minutes to go. The 78 yards and 9 plays for the tie. Von Schamann to kick. McGee and the smallest player in the league, Lionel Little Train James, deep. This is James. He's going to gamble. Take it out. 10. And he's almost to the 20-yard line. For 45, Robert Sowell, the special team star, made. We're early in the second quarter, tied at 7. Dan Fouts goes to work and misses his man Eric Sievers. Ernie Rohn was the closest player. Fouts didn't like the route. 7-0 Raiders in the second quarter against Kansas City. I think that went up to 14-0. Jets lead 10-0 at Houston in the second quarter. 21-0 the Broncos. Going for perhaps the best record in the league. They've lost 1, Miami none. San Francisco, best of the NFC, 7-0 lead against Tampa Bay in the second. Most of the late games today here at 7-all. Second and 10 for Fouts. And he sends Jackson up the middle for a couple. Trying to catch the Dolphin defense with a surprise run. They had 6 defensive backs on the field, but Thomas and Baumhauer made the tackle. Jackson now with 50 yards today. What a pick he was. 202nd player picked last year out of Texas A&M. Johnny Hector was teammate, a second-round pick of the Jets. That's the player everyone was focused upon. And in turn, Clayton was also a pick in the 8th round. More than 200 had been selected before him, and now he has 11 touchdowns for the Dolphins. Down goes Fouts for the first time at the 14-yard line. Baumhauer and Betters got him. They'll share the sack.
Watch the work of a great tight end, or great rushing end, as he goes upfield on Ed White, and then with a powerful move inside. You see him throwing White, fighting over a second block right there by McKnight, and virtually on his knees, throwing his body into the ankles of Fouts. That is a great, determined pass rush by Doug Betters. He's playing on a sore knee, by the way, and is on the sideline right at the moment, but what a great player he is.
Doesn't look like he'll have to share that on the second look. That'll be his 10th sack of the year. Buford punts it. Bolton Walker. What a lovely kick at the 38. And well covered by the Chargers. Jesse Bendros was downfield to get part of it along with Lucius Smith. 48-yard punt. And the Cowboys are going to be bristling. They lost today at Buffalo, and New England with a big win at Indianapolis.
Yeah. Cowboys a little embarrassed, I'm sure, by that outing today. They will be coming back with a vengeance next week.
Marino, a plus 33 touchdowns over interceptions. Yeah, a lot of great passers in this league. Didn't finish with much of a plus. Almost intercepted. It goes to the tight end, Hardy, and he fumbles. What's the call?
Ball is out of bounds, Dick.
He hung on to it, apparently. Lyndon King made the tackle of Hardy.
You wonder why Marino is throwing short. He's thrown a great deal short today. Look how deep the Chargers secondary are playing. Both safeties breaking deep. They're 15 yards deep before Marino can move backwards at all. But that does give Marino room to work underneath. That's Lyndon King working from behind that stripped that ball. A fine play by Lyndon, but not until Hardy had the first down.
12 yards on the play. First down at the San Diego 48. Tony Nathan, and the tackle made by Fred Big Dog Robinson, who played his high school ball in the city of Miami.
The Chargers have 3 young rookie defensive linemen that are starting to play some football for them. Robinson, one of those. An instinctive player. They picked him up off the waiver wire, cut by Tampa Bay Buccaneers just before the final roster cutdowns.
Loss of 2 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 12 for Marino. And the Chargers look pass. Marino down the middle. It's caught. Mark Cooper able to pick that one right off the grass top for a first down at the 31. A 19-yard play. Fans don't like it, but it appeared to be a clean catch.
Fans felt that ball may have bounced up, but Cooper's quick hand saved it. A lot of time for Marino. Looked like Green up to try and get a hand on it, and well, that ball dangerously near the ground, but no way to tell from that particular camera angle.
Duper, a second-round pick out of Northwest Louisiana State. Joe Delaney and Duper were part of a NCAA champion 400-meter relay.
Blitz coming, I think. No, backing out.
In the air, and Nathan, now there is a heady play. I think Don Shula gives them IQ tests as well as physical exams. Nathan, realizing that ball could be intercepted, didn't try to catch it and fight with some defender. He just knocked it away.
It's the role reversal, really. He became the defensive back, realizing that there were a lot more Chargers there than would have a chance to hit it. Watch him just bat that ball away. Indeed, Lyndon King had his sights on it and had open field down in front of him. May have scored a touchdown. Right play.
2nd and 10. 8.5 minutes remaining in the first half here in cloudy San Diego. 5 defensive backs for the Chargers. Wide open, Bruce Hardy. And it is apparent, Merlin Olsen, that with the coverage and the respect for all that speed outside, that the Chargers have to give up something, and the tight end has been all alone all this first half.
Well, that's that big area underneath the zone. When you're dropping your linebackers deep and you're playing a zone defense, you offer room for those tight ends and for the backs underneath. Perfect example here. Miles McPherson actually trying to cover on that play. He's just back off the injured list, and there was nobody even close to Hardy on that play.
Looked like we had a solo shot. Hardy in
really
the grass.
Did. Empty area, empty turf. Of course, when you're playing zone defenses, you're not supposed to have that much room empty.
17 yards. It's first down at the 13. Woody Bennett. He gets 3 the hard way. Mike Green, Ken Green. Fred Robinson all in on the tackle.
One of the things that happens to you as you move the ball down into tough territory, down toward the 10-yard line, the field begins to shrink for the offense. And it gets easier to play the zone defenses. You don't have as much room to take care of, and there's not as much room to utilize your speed as a wide receiver. So San Diego can play a tighter defense here than they can out in the open field.
Duper right. Clayton with a touchdown left. And a big quarter for Miami. Underneath to Clayton. Look at the speed. He gets a block. Is he in or not? He kicked the marker out of bounds at the foot line. Billy Ray Smith got to him, but I didn't say who it was. It might have been Duper with that shield block on the far side to help him out.
Just using that speed. If you've got a way to go, it's across the middle. There it is, out of the block right there, out of one tackle, out of a second tackle. And Nathan. Look at Billy Ray. Who was the block, Dick? I didn't see it.
Tony Nathan.
Tony Nathan, 22. Well, there it is right there, the shield block you talked about. But look at the good speed by number 54 of Billy Ray. And Clayton reaching in with that foot. It looked like a left-footed soccer kicker on that play.
Flag. And I believe what happened here is that, well, it might just be a timeout. We'll wait for the official. Looked like he gave a T sign.
There's no flag. Timeout number 1 for San Diego.
And Pete Johnson, a svelte Mr. Johnson, if you please. When the Chargers let him go and traded him to Miami, he weighed over 270. He's down to 247.
He's still got almost 500 pounds of defensive or offensive back in there with those two, Dick.
And it's Johnson. He has the touchdown. Pete Johnson, who has scored now for the 8th time in 9 Miami games.
remember Johnson wearing a Charger uniform. Some are not happy that he's in the other team's uniform today. But you see the power, and he is a much better player at 250 pounds than he was at 270 pounds, and that's what he reported to Miami. That's about what he weighed. There's no way to stop that kind of power when you come up in behind a good, strong offensive line.
There's Pete. Happy. John, he had a couple of touchdowns earlier for the Chargers, so that gives him 11 for the year. Ron Schaman has the extra point. So again, it took Marino less than 3.5 minutes, 60 yards, and Miami leads for the first time. Well, what would you call it when you go 198 consecutive games?
Durability or insanity, one or the other. I don't know which.
Which reminds us that Jack Youngblood broke your record today, 199 in a row for Youngblood, who was your teammate on that front four.
Yeah, kind of almost a son to me at times. I was there when he came in and took him under my wing and tried to teach him, and didn't have to do too well on that side of it. He was a quick learner and is still doing a great job for the Rams.
Umbrellas out, a light rain falling in San Diego. That's news in itself, this part of the country. Lionel James advised to stay right there. And the Chargers trailing 14-7 will have the ball at their 20-yard line. 7:22 left in the half. In that reference, 8-0 for the Dolphins, who have dominated the second quarter, scored twice, lead 14-7. Here comes Fouts and company. Has 8 yards, and he was the third receiver. Fouts looked deep one way, looked right, and finally found Chandler.
8 yards.
Kansas City trailing the Raiders in the second quarter up north at the Coliseum. The Jets have a 13-7 lead at the Astrodome in the second period. In the other late game, Denver leads 21-7 at home against Minnesota. What did Don Coryell mean that he scripts the first 2 downs of a sequence?
They've written down the plays they want to run on first and second down for a whole series, and they go through them one at a time and cross them off, Dick.
2nd and 2. Oh, Buford McGee gets to the 38-yard line and still has the ball with him. That pleases everyone here in San Diego.
A little confusion on where he was going to take that handoff. Bumped into Fouts, but able to get a handle on it. Misdirection on this play as they go over inside 63 Wilkerson and Clappin number 77. And Ernest Roan trying to get outside. That was Wilkerson holding him to the inside, making room for Buford McGee. Another shot of it here. Look what a nice hole is opened up there by shutting off the pursuit and forcing the linebacker out wide.
10 yards for McGee, the rookie from Mississippi. Bounce to this side to Chandler. Is he in bounds? Yes. 11 more yards as they go after Paul Langford at the left corner, replacing the injured Don McNeil.
12 yards.
Right close to the sideline, the second foot. Right there, an official looking at it apparently decided that all those toes, all 5 of them, were inside the line.
Your shoe never would have made that.
No, those 15s would have gone right over they might have gone clear over that white strip, Dick.
First down at the 49. Ernest Jackson. Out of bounds. Bob Brzezinski gets him at the Miami 48-yard line. We pause briefly for station identification from San Diego, California. This is the NBC Television Network. Sandberg with Merlin Olsen. Light shower apparently is passed. The umbrella's tucked away. Miami Dolphins lead the San Diego Chargers 14-7. Fouts to Sievers. 3 yards to give the Chargers a first quarter lead, 7-0. But Marino to Clayton and Pete Johnson, a 1-yard slam, and Miami in front 14-7. Dolphins going for their 17th consecutive regular season win. 2nd and 8, batted in the air and caught. Pete Holohan, the man on the spot. He was a high school star in basketball, grabbing a rebound.
Going up for that toss at midcourt. This ball batted away. Fouts was going to Holohan, but right there, knocked in the air, I believe, by Betters. And Holohan went up with Blackwood on his back and came down with the football. There is no interference when a ball has been batted like that. So Blackwood already had a hold of Holohan, who just out-muscled him for the ball.
3rd and 2. San Diego's made good 4 out of 6 third downs. And Jackson doesn't get there. He had to get to the 40, I believe. Well, now looking at the yard 6, that didn't quite have to get to the 40. That's going to be close.
They'll have to measure it. Wilkerson doing a good job, as were the rest of the interior of that line. McKnight, Masick, the 2 tackles, Clappin, and on the other side, Ed White. Look at Wilkerson, how quick he gets down on the linebacker, Ernest Roan, to keep him out of the play. But the big linemen on this side, Betters and Baumhauer, did a pretty good job of stuffing the hole, making a little room for that running back.
I'm glad we had a chance to see, as you look at Don Shula, Wilkerson and his quickness in his 15th year out of North Carolina Central. This is his 200th game. He now ties Russ Washington for the Charger record, and he hasn't lost that quickness. You see how short the Chargers are in the first down. And of course, the fans, and here with the Charger season, they're 5-6. Don Coryell, he's just playing to get a big win. His season, as far as the playoffs, is over.
He says, here we go. We might as well go after it, and they will on a 4th and short. The Chargers use more substitution than any team in the NFL. They have a team for everything. They've got their power team in there, their short yardage team right now. High formation.
Wayne Morris and Ernest Jackson behind Fouts. It's Jackson. He's got the first down at the 40.
San Diego fans have had a couple of close losses to feel sorry about. They're applauding right now for the decision to go for it, and it proved to be the right decision. Jackson just barely getting over the line with Blackwood, and Lyle Blackwood really the big culprit there as he nailed him at the line of scrimmage.
4 more downs for Fouts. Tight end Eric Sievers has 6 yards. Ernest Roan with the tackle.
Dick, we were isolating the qualities that you really have to play as a great quarterback, and one we didn't include and probably should have is confidence. A great quarterback has to have confidence in his arm, and that shows itself in being willing at times to throw to a receiver that is covered. Sievers beautifully covered on the play. Fouts just got him the ball anyway.
Yeah, that's the quality again. Marino and Fouts be tough to
separate.
Jackson, he's got a blocker. Dewey can't get him. Finally out of bounds with a first down at the 23.
Ernest Jackson, really a force in this game today. We mentioned Miami's difficulty in containing the running game. This is not really what Fouts wants to do on the day. He'd be much happier throwing the football, but realizes that he is going to have to grind it out. He's going to have to use Ernest Jackson, and use him he is, as Jackson already has accounted for 66 yards, and they're moving in on a touchdown here, Dick.
Playing with a broken right hand. We'll follow up on that. He's carrying the ball left-handed. Fouts looking for 6. And the pass was a little short to Charlie Joyner. William Judson on the coverage. Joyner has not caught a ball today. He's only 9 from being the all-time leader in NFL receptions.
Joyner wanted to call on Judson here, but Judson apparently timed that perfectly. The ball slightly underthrown. If it had been just slightly ahead of Joyner on this play, would have had a touchdown. He had room, but had to reach back for that football, and Judson able to knock it away.
2nd and 10 at the 23.
walk into the office of Ernie Zampese, the offensive coordinator for these Chargers, the wall is covered with literally thousands of plays. This is one that they pulled out. It works beautifully. Big Ed White, number 67, out in front of that play. You won't see that very often, but he used to be a pulling guard. Sievers gets it all the way down to the 5, and they're looking at that goal line.
First and goal, 18 yards on the play. Power backfield. Buford met smartly. Baumhauer hit him head on, the 265-pounder from Alabama. Baumhauer, we asked him, you know, he's got a parrot, Ralph, that when he first bought him could speak only Spanish. He had to teach him English. I said, any new words this year, new phrases? He said, oh, am I happy. He can say, sack the quarterback.
Well, he didn't sack the quarterback. He did a good job of crunching on the line of scrimmage. Look at those bodies mashing in there. Down in the pits. This one is getting tough.
There's Baumhauer, second-round pick in 1977, playing right on the nose. Second and goal. Fouts. Broken up by Langford, number 44. Sievers very nearly his second touchdown.
Sievers fighting hard for that football, but Langford able to keep it away from him. You'll see it here. Fouts has a lot of time to throw. Zipped that pass. Looked like Langford able to get a piece of Sievers' elbow and maybe keep those hands when you can't close those arms on that football. Pretty hard to hang on to it.
60-year-old Don Coryell. Third and goal. Bounce. Touchdown, Charlie Joyner. Joyner, who does not want to talk all-time record, he'll just take that touchdown to tie it up.
Offensive line doing a good job of protecting Fouts. He had time to allow Joyner to work his magic on 44 Paul Langford. And Joyner did it perfectly.
And Benerska ties it with the extra point. So an impressive drive by Chargers Dan Fouts, and he hits Charlie Joyner for the tying score. Joyner's first catch today. It's 14 all. Fulton Walker comes to the sidelines and out of bounds for the 5-yard penalty. Let's go back, since we have a little time here, Merlin, and talk about the... Oh, we're not going to have time. We're going to go to this message from NBC Sports. With that last touchdown to tie it at 14, Benerska will kick it again after the 5-yard penalty. Holden Walker deep, and Benerska hits this one well. Oh, my. Buford McGee, he's made a couple hits like that today.
Second one on kickoffs here as he just lowered his shoulder and popped Walker right on his back. You see his coach, Coryell, coming over to congratulate him. Watch the hit here from the top of your screen. Buford McGee just ducks underneath, and there he is right there coming underneath. Good leverage. Got his body down low, popped right out on that play. Excellent job on special teams.
30 Scott Byers had slowed Walker down, but it was Buford McGee's hit that put him away. First down, Marino at the 28. Over the middle. Oh, fumble. Is that a fumble or an incomplete pass? No, incomplete pass. He did not have control. Johnson was juggling the ball in the judgment of the official. Tim Fox won't agree, but we'll see it again. Don Coryell's been upset about some calls all year. He's not had many breaks.
Well, you have a chance to see it here. The ball briefly contained and then loose. I call that a fumble, Dick. If he has control and that foot comes down, both feet come down on the ground.
I don't think he got both feet. I think he had one down, second one not. Maybe we'll get another spy at that one. Marino down the middle to Duke. keeper. First down at midfield. Billy Ray Smith with a tackle. Let's go back and see. Fumble or no fumble. Coryell says, what do I have to do?
He's still upset on the sideline. 2 feet he needs down. What? Well, second foot didn't hit the ground. You're right, Coach. You got that one.
That's one for the year. We'll be back. Well, it's Miami protecting its unbeaten mark, but San Diego, a decided underdog, has played them even in the first half. First down at midfield for Dan Marino. Screen to Nathan. 45. Tackled at the 41, shy of the first down. Now, we talked earlier about scripting the San Diego plays. Again, to repeat, that Don Coryell doesn't just call one play, he calls them in pairs, first and second down.
He calls plays, they actually write them down. They have a whole list of plays, and they write them down. They go through that list of plays. Now, Miami has a different system. We'll talk about that in a second.
Marino, nothing but time underneath to Nathan, and a first down at the 31-yard line. Let's see if Miami spends a timeout. Apparently not. Hurry it up.
Hurry up offense here. They'll just come right up and sling the football on first down.
Miami has all of its timeouts remaining. Again underneath to Dan Johnson. He's hit by Billy Ray Smith at the 25, and timeout Miami. Second down and 4. A minute 12 remaining. All right, you said that Dan Marino has a different system than the Chargers.
Shula will call plays on first and second down, but on third play, on third down, Marino usually calls his own play. And I asked him why, and he said basically it's because there's not time for Shula to talk a complete, complex play and send it out, and then have somebody tell me and have me call it and then go run it. So they let him call the third down plays.
Going almost intercepted as Clayton was well covered. John Turner, who caught a Marino pass earlier, almost had another interception.
Turner figures in a lot of big plays here early. Knocks this one away. As you said, intercepted one, and it was Clayton that scored on Turner on his big touchdown. Looked to me like he may have knocked one away that could have been intercepted, Dick. I think he made the decision to knock it down and not take a chance at it, but it looked to me like he would have had a chance to pick it off.
Ill-advised pass. There were 5 blue shirts there.
Marino's been forcing the ball a little bit the last couple of weeks.
Out of the shotgun. Whoops. Offside on the free play for Marino. And he goes to Nathan on a first down at the 13-yard line. And, of course, the penalty will stop the clock. So everything good for Miami on that play.
It all works in their favor as Robinson had jumped offside. Marino knows that he can't get hurt on that play. He can throw an interception. Doesn't cost him a thing.
Offside. Number 90 on the defense. That penalty is declined. First down.
Greatest mistake is to slack up and let them go ahead and pop a touchdown or make a big play as they did on that one, Dick.
14 all. Final minute plus first half. Underneath. Boy, those little guys. That is after the whistle. The fumble after the whistle. Tim Fox again thought he had it. It's a 10-yard gain. What's been amazing about the speedsters of Miami, not only are they fast, but have great hands, but they take their licks. Let's see.
You'll see a pop here as Clayton coming inside. Oof, just buried. That's Fox that hit him. He's hit a second time by Lyndon King coming across from the inside, and he is still on the ground.
In the final 2 minutes, so 1 timeout remaining. First, it is not first and goal. It's second and inches.
Now the Chargers have called a timeout.
Oh, Coryell's upset at that. He's anticipating no matter what happens here, the Chargers, and the way Fouts can move the ball, they want to save those timeouts. Even if Miami scores here, 45 seconds for Fouts is an eternity. So he has lost a timeout. He didn't want that one to be called.
No timeout.
No, now no timeout is the call. All right, so add one for the Chargers. They have 2 left.
Maybe they saw the look on Coryell's face.
Woody Bennett and Pete Johnson behind Marino. Second and inches. Woody Bennett, touchdown. Bennett answering that fumble at the 1-yard line on the opening series.
Miami touchdown.
little easier after that one. You saw him give a little sigh there as Bennett did a good job of corralling that football. Look how Marino is moving as he gets ready to take that snap. He's an interesting quarterback. He's always in action. Bennett using his strength on that play to spin off into the end zone and feels a lot better about this game right at this moment.
And what a call. Bennett had caught only 3 passes all year. And down on the goal line, he gets the answer. Von Schaman makes it 21-14. 72 yards and 9 plays.
Just a little toss outside. Pete Johnson doing a job of protecting his quarterback. An opening there. Looked like a little confusion between the linebackers. Lyndon King driving out on the tight end, and it looked like Billy Ray trying to get back up on Bennett, but he was kind of shielded by his other linebacker. Often you try and design plays so that the defense has to get in each other's road to do their jobs, and when they do, it makes it a little easier to get into the end zone.
It's been a great offensive game. In the second quarter, Clayton, 12-yard touchdown. Then San Diego punted. Pete Johnson scored, made it 14-7. Chargers got the ball. Fouts took them downfield 80 yards to make it 14-14. Kickoff. Miami takes it 72 yards. They've gone ahead 21-14. And now with 47 seconds remaining and 2 timeouts, Dan Fouts will see if he can answer for the Chargers. We saw him last week or a couple of weeks ago against the Raiders with last week against
Denver. He brought him down with 30 seconds. I think 30 seconds, 28 seconds on the clock. Came all the way down, and they had a chance to tie it with just seconds to go.
Von Schaman to the goal line, and 1 yard deep is Lionel James. Tripped up at the 20-yard line. Here comes Fouts with 43 seconds. Jay Brophy made the hit on special teams for Miami.
Brophy, one of the linebackers drafted very highly last year. Jackie Shipp, actually the first-round choice. Brophy's had a chance to play a lot more football than Shipp, but both appear to be superstars of the future for the Dolphins.
Word on Mark Clayton. You saw the hit he took in the helmet. Well, he came up with a bruised elbow and a bruised leg. He said he's okay. He'll be back. He hurt all over.
He will return.
Fouts looking for something big. Goes underneath the Lionel James. Field of play after 3-yard gain, and Bowser has him, and Fouts calls time with 34 seconds.
James just made a mistake as he actually ran, and yet young Dan Marino, on the pace that he is on right now, will absolutely destroy all of those records if he stays healthy. It's amazing.
Second down and 7. There's Joyner. He's all the way to the 46-yard line, and the Chargers spend their final timeout. Lyle Blackwood made the tackle, 21 yards for Joyner, who's now 6 from tying. He takes. He's always there. Dan Fouts is now number 4 behind Tarkenton, Unitas, and Hart in yardage, passing the former Charger quarterback, John Adel. 26 seconds for Fouts to try to get something else. Well covered is Chandler, and he had to break up the potential interception by Robert Sowell.
Chandler trying to work down the near sideline and get behind Sowell. Fouts thought he could maybe thread the ball in there, but Sowell doing a good job. We see a lot of him on special teams, almost tripped there, but watch Chandler come back inside. That's twice today. We've seen receivers become defensive backs and go up and knock that football away. We saw Nathan do it earlier. That play, Chandler became the role switcher.
20 seconds remaining in the half. Fouts to the sidelines. Oh, what a catch by Lionel James. Little Lionel James for 5'6". Makes a one-handed grab. We have seen some spectacular receptions.
Some magic here. We saw Clayton with a one-hander earlier. Just a very fine play by Little Train as he goes up and corrals it. Now, it's so hard when your body, he's going in a 360, literally going in a circle with all the momentum that ball trying to break loose, and still able to control it, get his feet down, and hang on to that football.
Ball at the 47. It's 3rd down and 3 for Fouts. You see the time remaining in the half. Looking for Chandler over the middle. He's got it. Down at the 29-yard line. Fouts is going to try to throw an incomplete pass.
He'll never get it off. 2-1. Oh, and the it now. If the offensive team is lined up and ready to play and the defense is not able to get back and get lined up, then the officials will stop the clock momentarily.
It's going to be academic. Well, now, see, here comes the field goal team. So Don Coryell has used this timeout to get his team in position.
They'll get lined up.
1 second left.
Boy, you better count your players out there. Make sure you don't. Well, now they're going to.
Yeah, I don't know if they can do that.
Let's see.
This is an interesting dilemma for the officials.
Shula wondering what's happened. Maybe there was an injured player on that. Looked like they were looking at Kozlowski momentarily, but.
Time without a timeout, the Chargers have gotten one to get their field goal unit on.
I think maybe Miami called the timeout. Shula's upset. I think maybe Miami called the timeout.
Well, we're going to have to find out the answer to that. Meanwhile, Benerska will try a 46-yard field goal.
Almost exactly what he missed in the final seconds last week.
And he does the same thing. Hooks it wide to the left. So Benerska, one of the most accurate kickers in NFL history, and Don Shula still puzzled about how in the world the Chargers, without a timeout, were able to set up for the field goal.
Well, we'll have to find out ourselves.
We'll get the answer for you, and we'll have all the scores coming up on NFL 84. Statistics.
Probably the most important on that list, aside from the score, which is not there, but it's in the Chargers' favor, in the Miami Dolphins' favor, is the 2 turnover number down under the Dolphins. One of those, a fumble into the end zone, cut short a scoring opportunity, and a second, a long pass thrown, intercepted by the Chargers that shut down another drive. But aside from those two, the Charger offense been able to stay in the game, but the Charger defense having trouble limiting Dan Marino and his explosive Miami Dolphin offensive.
Look at that. Both pitchers are over 70%.
Wow.
Both with 2 touchdowns.
Talk about quarterbacks and 2 bright offensive systems. Both Shula and Coryell, innovative, very bright offensive minds.
They're warming up as Uwe von Schamann gets ready to kick off to start this second half. McGee and James are deep. Lionel James at the 1. As he got to daylight, is hammered at the 26-yard line. Mark Brown and Jay Brophy, a couple of young linebackers, made the tackle. Only 2 punts in the entire first half, both by Buford. The Dolphins did not have to kick the ball.
Now, Roby leads the league in the fewest number of punts attempted on the season. And a Dolphin player down, 88 Heflin, I believe, the player that's on the ground.
Indeed, with a much more civilized approach. First down, Chargers, 21-14, first scrimmage play, second half. Fouts, you saw Holohan, the tight end, go in motion. It's Severs, the other tight end, and a first down at the 40-yard line. 15 yards for Fouts on the first play of the second half.
That's a play, obviously, out of Coryell's script, and a good one. The reason they try and line up their plays that way, Dick, is that they feel that they want to show certain things. They want to set up plays, and they sometimes forget what they're trying to do. They don't get all of that in if they just go ahead and call them as they feel them. So Coryell wants it written down and wants to go by the script when he can.
You saw the Chargers have been a better first-half team this year. Has been well protected. He misses Holohan, former Notre Dame star. He went to Notre Dame as a quarterback, but they had a fellow named Joe Montana there, and suddenly this transformation. Holohan, you're a tight end.
Well, he's become a very good tight end. There's Chuck Studley, defensive coordinator. He's filling some big shoes. Bill Arnsparger is now head coach at LSU, and Studley, according to Shula, just fits right in. He brings perhaps a little more of the physical nature to this Dolphin defense. He wants them to toughen up against the run, be a little more physical rather than a finesse defense.
Jackson. Ooh, hit in the backfield by Doug Betters.
Down on the line of scrimmage, to control a 3-4 defense, you've got to control the nose tackle. A good battle going on down there between Masick and Bob Baumhauer. Baumhauer, a long-bodied nose man. He really uses strength more than leverage because he is so long. But look how he unloads on Masick there. And although I would have to say that Masick did his job, got Baumhauer off the line, made room for the play. It was Better's penetration on the other side that shut that play off.
Well, the Dolphins defense with an extra defensive back. Now he's going for it all. He's got a man open deep. And he caught it. Jesse Bendros, the rookie from Alabama, despite the flag. Now let's see against whom. Maybe they're going to call it against Bendros.
The initial signal was against the defender, against Bendros. But it may be an official error there. He may just have pointed the wrong direction.
Offensive pass.
No, he's going to call it that way.
86.
He was talking yesterday. He said, I just need to get a break now and then.
That ball slightly underthrown twice today. Fouts has not been able to get that ball all the way down, and there you saw the push. Now the defensive man is entitled to his position, and it's just like he's the receiver at that point. Bendros going through his arms to make the catch, but the official determined that it was indeed offensive interference, and that's a call we're seeing more of these days.
So in comes the punting team. It appeared Bendros caught the ball. Apparently he didn't catch it either because they declined the penalty, the Dolphins. Oh, we had some unfinished business. We want to give you the report on what happened at the end of the first half. We'll tell you in a moment as Buford punting for the third time today. Fulton Walker back at the Miami 17. Good kick. 16. 20. The 21-yard line. The reason why the clock was stopped at the end of the first half was that Kozlowski of the Dolphins was injured, so the officials took an injury timeout charge to Miami, which allowed then San Diego to try the field goal that was errant from 46. Timeout, 13:05 left, third quarter.
Stocking, and they've done a good job of working on it to protect the players.
Dolphins' first possession of the second half. Goes to the tight end Dan Johnson, short yardage. No, incomplete is the call. Let's go to New York.
All right, Dick, a story down in Houston as the Oilers have gone out on top of the Jets. Warren Moon hooks up with Tim Smith. The play covers 14 yards, 17-13 Houston, and the Oilers are threatening again. Dick?
All right, Bill. So Houston with its first win last week, and it tasted good. Go for another. As the last pass. Oh, it caught the back end of the ball. Oh, they called. Well, that was incomplete.
Ball on the ground. Incomplete.
Incomplete. Tony Nathan. Boy, the Chargers come out slamming. Chuck Ian from BYU. Hey, how about the Cougars? Will they be number one?
They might do. We'll have to wait and see on that one, but they certainly have a claim to it.
They're excited here in San Diego. The Holiday Bowl takes the winner of the WAC conference, and that will be BYU. And who knows? That might draw a different kind of opponent now with a chance to play number one and unbeaten at the end of the year. Miami 4 for 4 on third downs.
And after two miscues, look what they did in that first half. Wow.
Great protection. That's going to be short of the first down. Incomplete anyway. As Joe Rose just activated.
You hit on one of the keys to the year that the Dolphins have had. Protection of the quarterback. They're number one in the NFL. Only 7 quarterback sacks in the entire season, and they've been perfect so far today.
Reggie Roby will have to swing that right leg for the first time this afternoon. He's averaging 44 yards a punt.
He is a big horse. He's about 6'3", Dick?
243.
243. He can kick that ball a mile high, too.
Two-step punter from Iowa. Lionel James back at the Charger 30. Wobbly kick.
Look out.
Troublesome.
Look out.
The reason Merlin was yelling, look out, that's the kind of kick that hits an unsuspecting lineman for the Chargers, and is then a free ball. Goes out of
Happened
bounds.
here last week, Dick.
37 yards for Roby. California, this is winter.
You can't convince the guys who are standing in the snow and shoveling today,
I'm
Dick.
glad we didn't have the Buffalo assignment today. Cold in the East and Midwest. Dan Fouts, the quarterbacks have been hot here. Incomplete. Eric Sievers covered by A.J. Douay. Plenty of time for Fouts, just no one open.
Well, let's watch and see what a good receiver does to try and get open. Working on Bowser, number 85, Sievers. Now he comes across inside. He's trying to find some open space. Indeed does find it. The ball slightly behind him. No way to catch that one, although Sievers will make that kind of acrobatic catch for you.
Colton Walker comes in as a fifth defensive back. Chandler and Duckworth and Joyner, three wide receivers, two tight ends, and they stay on the ground to Jackson. Good speed from the backside by Rodell Thomas, 54. Kim Beaucamper meeting the run, but Thomas chasing from behind to help on the tackle.
We see the tight ends often as receivers. Here you watch Pete Holohan, number 88, with a good block on number 75, Betters. Boy, he just stayed with him like a bulldog. Got his head in there and kept Betters out of the play.
Well, earlier, Marino failed on third down for the first time, 4 of 5 for Miami, 6 for 10 third down conversions for Fouts.
Shifting both wide receivers. Boy, you talk about putting pressure on the defense, jumping back and forth.
Fouts hit as he threw the ball. Betters got to him. Betters unhappy that he didn't get the sack, but the Chargers will have to give up the football. Colton Walker will drift back as Fouts, somewhat discouraged, comes off.
Fouts is a tough competitor. One of the things that we used to evaluate the quarterbacks earlier today, Dick, was their courage. And as a defensive lineman, that's something you always test in a quarterback. We tested Fouts when we had a chance to get a shot at him. And what you test is their ability to hold that football till the last second. They know they're going to go down. They still throw it. They're still willing to take that punishment to get the pass thrown.
Buford's kick is fairly short. Walker at the 21. So he's got blockers now. 40, 45, and to the 47-yard line. Colton Walker, he's had a couple of outstanding kick returns today. That one, 26 yards.
Walker led the league last year in kickoff returns. And Miami has not done an outstanding job with punt returns this year or kickoff returns, but Walker explosive on this play. Right upfield, several missed tackles on the play. The Chargers have allowed a pretty high return ratio on the season, and that will inflate those numbers even more.
Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
Sports, Cincinnati style. WLWT Channel 5.
Miami ball at the 47-yard line. Gained 18 yards on the exchange of punts. Woody Bennett, the man who helped design that body stocking. He has a touchdown today on a pass reception, and he's in San Diego territory at the 47-yard line.
The way folks are hitting down there, they better be wearing some protection today.
We'll be in Dallas for the Cowboys and the Patriots on Thanksgiving Day, the second half of the Turkey Fair doubleheader, 3:30 Eastern Time. We hope you'll join us. Boy, Dallas, to stay in it, have to recover from a tough loss today at Buffalo, and New England rolling. Tony Eason and company 50 points in their win at Indianapolis. Tony Nathan, nothing outside, and had to quickly go inside. It appears he's just shy of a first down. Other scores, Denver romping at home against Minnesota. He acts like to Minnesota in that one. You have to swallow a little bit. How's he doing in this one? San Francisco 21-10. I think he picked Tampa Bay in that one. Maybe a rough day.
Axe. They're chopping on Axe right now. He's a lot shorter than he was at the start of the day.
Oh, yeah. Costas will get him right down the side. Here we go at the 44.
Third and short. Big down for the Miami Dolphin offense.
job by the Charger defense, Tim Fox and Mike Green, to stop the powerful Johnson.
Johnson trying to drift outside. Things pretty well stuffed up inside. And, of course, what you want to do with a big back is to get him running laterally. Then he can't use his strength. You look inside at number 73, Guthrie, who's one of the nose tackle, actually trying to get outside. That's Mike Green. Number 58 and 48, Tim Fox, doing a good job of putting this stop right there on Big Pete Johnson.
They're going to measure, but I don't think you made it.
You know, Johnson has a 2.6 average as a Dolphin, and you say that's not a very good average until you look at when he comes into a ballgame. He's always going against those short yardage and goal line defenses, and to average 2.6, rather incredible.
Let's see what Don Shula's choice is, to go for it. So Shula, with a touchdown lead, has that much confidence in this high-powered offense that at the Charger 44-yard line, he's willing to gamble here early in the second half. That's somewhat uncharacteristic.
Well, Bob Gracie said that Shula has a mind like a quarterback, thinks like a quarterback. And when he has all of the tools, look out. Well, let's see what he does with those offensive tools on this 4th and short.
Could be a momentum shifter if the Chargers can stop him. I guess when you have 247 pounds of Pete Johnson, alias James Henrick, Willie James Henrick, he played 7 years of high school football by changing his name, and he goes with a call.
On the line of scrimmage, good penetration by the San Diego defensive line. Number 76, Ferguson in there, but Johnson able to find a seam before he's finally hit and knocked down by Mike Green. But when he is square to the line and coming straight at you, he is a tough man to put on the ground.
Marino to Nat Moore, no good, no catch.
Nat can't believe it.
I think there's a disagreement with the officials. One says he did, one says he didn't.
Well, I believe that they're going to give them the catch now. Here's the catch by Moore. Well, pretty difficult to tell whether his hand was underneath that ball. If his hand was underneath the ball, it did not touch the ground. Now we're getting everyone over into the call now.
Fred Cashin says, get away from that Charger sidelines.
I don't think you want to mess with Coryell and Bass over there. They're both hot on that one.
Shula's team, the least penalized team in football now for 9 straight years. And some have said, well, you know, Shula's on the rules committee. Now they're going to say incomplete.
Now they finally have opted to call it an incomplete pass and move back. They'd already moved the yard, getting ready to move the yard markers.
Pass is ruled incomplete because it hit the ground.
All right.
That's a good reason.
I don't think Shula agrees with that. Well, the fans here are happy, Dick.
Don might be asking, well, how come it took so long? But Shula, part of his technique is execution, and penalties are part of success. He said, no such thing as a little mistake, a little penalty. They all hurt you. Woody Bennett up the middle. And he bubbles, and the Chargers recover. Woody Bennett, for the second time today, loses it, and the Chargers stop the drive. Come up with some big, the last month he's played as well as any linebacker in the league.
Chuck Weber, defensive coach, says he's having the best year ever for London.
21-14 Miami, and Ernest Jackson buys a couple of yards the hard way. Baumauer and Roan in on the tackle.
A.J. Dewey, number 77, a very flexible linebacker, was once, of course, a lineman, and he's someone they like to move around. They like to cause problems for a defense. He moved all the way across on that play, got himself into the hole, and just became a big, well, what, a hurdle? A tree? Something very large in front of Ernest Jackson. A short gain on the play, 2nd and 9.
Jackson with that broken right hand. He carries the ball left-handed. He is naturally left-handed, so that isn't that big a handicap. The screen and wide open to Seaver. Well, that play has worked twice, and no one can tackle Seaver.
arthroscopic surgery a couple of weeks back, unable to play last week. He got out there, got himself ready, practiced this week, and has come up with a number of big plays. But imagine putting this kind of pressure on your legs after knee surgery. Oh, I'll tell you, fine play.
Sievers, you saw the sign. He's part of a charitable program, asks fans to bring items for the Thanksgiving holiday for the needy. Ernest Jackson to the 50-yard line, a gain of 4. Roan from Henderson State of Arkadelphia, Arkansas, made the tackle.
I wonder if he feels the pain out there today, Dick. They said early in the week he actually couldn't run first couple of days because the vibration would jar that broken bone in his hand, and it hurt so much he couldn't run. I think maybe it's amazing what adrenaline will do for you. I don't think he's feeling much pain out there today.
And you don't say that in jest at all. I mean,
no,
it really is the natural juices. 2nd and 6. See him carrying in the left hand, and he's wrapped up by Bob Brzezinski from Ohio State. Brzezinski, whose birthday is on the 1st of January, and he went to 3 Rose Bowls. Finally got a win out there as well. Tough versus the run, and he showed you there.
Somebody got a little better hop on him. Tim Fox had 4. It's Ohio State, and of course his Buckeyes going to be coming back to the Rose Bowl, and we're looking forward to that big game here on NBC against SC.
Southern California and Ohio State. 3 wide receivers to the left. Flag is down, and we may have holding against San Diego.
I think that's the first holding call of the day. 1 sack on Fouts, but his offensive line has just done a great job of limiting this rush by the Dolphins.
Appeared that somebody grabbed Bocamper.
Holding, number 63 on the offense, still 3rd down.
Doug Wilkerson.
Well, when you want to get those key yards, you go to the man. Charlie Joyner, number 18. Look at that pass route. Just a little bruise there. Paul Kozlowski actually fell down trying to keep up with Joyner on that play. Langford finally made the stop on it.
He's the first down man. Let's see if Fouts goes there again. 3rd and about 17. Overshoots it. Right into the arms of Blackwood. And Lyle Blackwood with his 3rd interception. And back to Judson. And look at Dan Fouts in the thick of things.
Number 42, Lyle Blackwood.
Fouts is furious. I don't know what Fouts is angry about, but he is mad about something on that play.
Well, he's mad initially that the pass was overthrown. He may be arguing that his man was held up unduly.
Let's take a peek at it. Well beyond the 5-yard limit, there's still contact on that play. That might have been what he was angry about.
Now, they work on a position on the field, and that ruined that spot.
Joyner tried to strip that ball. Now, watch Charlie get up. He'll come back and try and strip it again, and Blackwood flipping that ball outside. Now, that's dangerous. That's something that the Dolphin defense does regularly, though. They throw that ball around.
Rugby team. Tony Nathan stays inside, pays the price. Billy Ray Smith and a quintet of Charger tacklers. Here it's 21-14. We go to New York.
All right, Dick, that story continues to unfold down in Houston as the Oilers have scored again. Warren Moon hooks up with Herky Walls, and the former Texas Longhorn makes a nice grab. It's 24-13, Houston, 3rd quarter. Dick?
All right, Bill. Houston and Jets, 2 teams headed in different directions. Marino to the tight end Hardy to the 31-yard line, and another Miami first down. Let's run down all the scores of this 12th week of the season. Seattle winning big at Cincinnati.
13 yards on the pass completion.
Giants are in first place tie, 6 points over the Cardinals. New England a big win at Indianapolis. 16-10 Philadelphia upsets Washington. The Bears in the final seconds nip Detroit 16-14. Buffalo, the upset of the day, 14-3 over Dallas. 23-7 Cleveland wins at Atlanta. Used great pressure on the quarterback, had 11 sacks at least in that one. Marino dumps it off to Nathan. Now Nathan got back to the line of scrimmage. The rest of the scores.
Pass complete to Cody Nathan.
The Rams scored a field goal early and not much else as Green Bay on a winning streak, 31-6. The Raiders lead 14-0 early in the fourth quarter at home against Kansas City. 24-13. Houston has opened its lead against the Jets. And Denver winning big against Minnesota in Denver. Tampa Bay trails by 11 at San Francisco in the fourth quarter. You're up to date on all the scores. Here it's 21-14 with 4 minutes, 20 seconds left in the third quarter. 2nd and 10 for Marino. Down the middle. And Duper has it at the 12-yard line. Mark Duper hit hard but hangs onto the football.
Duper's still on the ground. Recover speed. You've got to get back behind them and force everything to play in front of you and hope you can come up and shake the ball loose, or that you can force mistakes. Now, there have been mistakes today. Marino has turned the ball over several times. In fact, 3 turnovers on the day. But aside from stopping Miami one time, it's been their own mistakes that have stopped them the rest of the day.
Marino with 1 interception and 2 Woody Bennett fumbles. First down. Underneath he goes to Clayton. And Clayton into the 2. That's the move he likes. When you expect him to continue outside, he curls back, looks for peel-back blocks, and he almost scored earlier on that very same move.
What a pair of wide receivers, Duper and Clayton, starting inside and then breaking back outside. A little fancy footwork by the receiver, and look at this running ability. Just a great athlete.
Boy, he's a big basketball fan. He says, Denny Crum, I got 4 years eligibility back at Louisville if they want me. He says, I'm going to have that tape machine on when Louisville plays. We can't see him on Saturday until football's over. He loves the Cardinals. Inside to the power back, and that'll be a touchdown for Pete Johnson. 2 for Big Pete.
Bruce Hardy came back in motion against the grain as a tight end in a wing position and actually got a trap block on one of the defensive linemen, I believe the nose man, on that play to help spring him. See him coming in from the outside. Watch the play right there. Dives in and puts the knock right there on 73. That's Keith Guthrie. Guthrie had a hold of the quarterback, thought he was going to get him there. Pete Johnson just powering into the end zone.
Moves his team quickly after the pass interception. 3 minutes, 13 seconds. It's been between 3 and 3.5 minutes every drive. Von Schaumann's extra point. And the Dolphins have their biggest lead of the day, 28-14.
Coming from the end zone, look at Guthrie. You see, he was trying to get to that quarterback, but it was his penetration that really opened up that hole for Johnson to power through. And Johnson continues to be 6-Point Pete. They gave him a new nickname down there.
That's right. 6-Point Pete. He has 9 touchdowns in 9 games. And has he tied or broken the Miami record for touchdowns consecutive games? It's 5 in a row now for him. It's either a tie or a new Dolphin record.
Well, he always wanted to play for Don Shula. He said, I wanted to play in Miami. I wanted to play for Shula. And he responded to Shula's confidence in him. Shula, the way Shula got him down, he reminded Pete of having him out on the Pro Bowl in Hawaii. And he said, Pete, you played so well out there. How much did you weigh then? Pete said, well, I think I was under 250. Shula says, that does tell you something, doesn't it? And Pete went from 270 down to 247.5, and partly because of his respect for this man, Don Shula.
And it's paying dividends for the Dolphins, who acquired Johnson, of course, from the San Diego Chargers for a number 2 draft pick, plus the rights to Dewey Forte, whom they have signed for next year, a defensive lineman. Does it go out of? Yes, it does. Right at the 1-foot line, so they'll have to kick it over at the 30-yard line.
50% on his field goals on the season. But Shula still has confidence in him. He's a veteran kicker and certainly has won some big games for the Miami Dolphins. But he's just had some problems. Missed some early, had some blocked early, and he's got to fight his way out of that. I guess that's like a golfer's slump, Dick. Or a hitter's slump. You just got to keep swinging and pull your way out of it.
And the Chargers have a chance at a return now. James and McGee Pete. Lionel James. Now they won't have a chance as Von Schaumann decided to just nail one low and as far as he could, and it worked. So 20-yard line, San Diego.
Power was was not his problem there. Powered that one into the end zone.
70 yards plus on the fly. Little added skirmish. And there are the numbers on the Dolphin touchdown drive. Interception. Plenty of time for Fouts. We're still late in the third quarter. There's Jackson. Absorbing a wallop and gains about 9 on the play. Bill Barnett from Nebraska, playing at a defensive inside line position, made the hit.
Doug Better's a fine pass rusher. Watch him go past number 67, Ed White. Little move outside and then slaps White and his cross. Now he picks up a second blocker right there. Dennis McKnight gets past him, but finally loses his balance and whips outside. But that's so frustrating for a good pass rusher when you know you're going to have a second man and occasionally even a third man waiting for you if you beat the second one.
Well, Gastineau gets it. Howie Long is getting that same treatment for the Raiders. It's an ultimate compliment. 2nd and 1. Has a first down at the 40. He felt that Joyner had been illegally handled. Dangerously incomplete. Kim Beaucamper was dropped off the line of scrimmage. Beaucamper wants a linebacker, but a line up on the line, and then occasionally they'll pull him back where he can use that height of his at 6'6".
He's the best pure pass rusher on that line, but and of course, because they're having to double team Vetters on the other side and they have problems with Baumhauer inside, pretty tough. They also bring Charlie Bowser, into a 3-point stance, and they'll put him down on a big tackle. He's done a good job of rushing the passer as well.
Tampa Bay draws close. 21-17 up at Candlestick. Back to the air. Fouts behind Chandler as Fouts was decked.
Bill Barnett, number 70, the man in on Fouts, and Fouts hanging on as long as he could, waiting for the receivers to pop open. Finally had to unload that football. Thrown slightly behind Wes Chandler, who simply couldn't control it. 3rd and 10. Fouts looking to the sideline now. Will take the read, take the play from the signals being thrown out from the sideline. Dave Levy and one of the quarterbacks. They have 2 people signaling, so it's very difficult to read those signals and do something with them from the opposite sideline.
49ers, best record in the NFC, leading by a touchdown against Tampa Bay at home. 1:33 left in this third quarter. And there's the first down man, Charlie Joyner at the Miami 42. Joyner's 3rd catch today.
We mentioned Charlie Bowser a minute ago and his pass rushing. He was coming from the opposite side. Well, we'll show you that in a second. First, the important play, the catch and the throw of the ball. But there's a reason that ball was able to get out of there. They picked up the blitz here. That's Bowser coming on a blitz inside. Sam Clappin waiting for him, able to keep him away from the quarterback, and the result, a completion.
No question, it's raining off in the foothills near the stadium. Jackson still on his feet. And he's to the Miami 34-yard line before Roan and Beaucamper can pull him back.
What a tough little tiger he is. He has taken a beating today. And just imagine those of you sitting at home watching this game, what has to be going through his mind when he suddenly looks down and realizes that he still has that broken hand. It hasn't gone away. He's still out there playing with it. And he has taken some hits today from this Miami defense. Fouts again, using the running play, to move the ball down the field. It is raining. It's coming pretty good, Dick.
6th time in San Diego home history they've had rain during a game. This is news. Fouts going long, and Joyner could not adjust. He thought he might have gotten a little extra bump. No penalty flag.
Working on William Judson on the far sideline. And one of the things that's amazing about this Miami team, they have really had to deal with a lot of adversity this year. McNeil, one of their fine corners, went down early in the year, and Paul Langford's come in and done a good job. They've lost a lot of their starters, and it just seems that Shula has anticipated a lot of these things, and they have people ready to step in.
They've lost Kuchenberg, Loxo, Beaucamper, Rhodes, Vigorito, Andre Franklin, Don McNeil, Mike Charles. I mean, they've not been without their injury story, too. Third and short. Jackson looking for the first down.
He has it.
That'll be the final play of the third quarter. And the fans down to our left, the closed end of the Coliseum, or of the San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium, are pleased. They'll get a little closer look at the action. That's the end of the third quarter. 28-14. Miami leads San Diego. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
NCR.
We start the fourth quarter in rainy San Diego. First down, Chargers at the Miami 31. And Jackson met at the line of scrimmage, pulls forward for a yard in the grasp of Bill Barnett. Well, we want to congratulate our colleague Bob Greasy. We look forward to seeing him. He'll join us for our game on Thanksgiving, Dallas and New England. Bob Greasy inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame and honored at halftime at the traditional Purdue-Indiana game, West Lafayette, yesterday. Bob Greasy, who was the engineer of that perfect season, one and only in NFL history, 17-0 as the Dolphins won it all in 1972, 12 years ago. Second and 9. Wide open, the tight end. Severs at first down. That's a Miami 18. You see the turf getting a bit more slick.
This field challenged the college game here last night. Shoot it up a little bit. They've done a good job of getting it ready. That's also an area of the field that was sodded after the baseball season. The Padres having a great year. You see a little bit of that turf slipping out from underneath Seaver's feet. But boy, what a lot of pressure he's put on those knees. We mentioned just back off orthoscopic surgery. First time he's played since. And he has been a big man today in that offense.
Holohan in motion. Fouts looking for it all. And no one there. He threw that one away. Joyner was in the end zone, but going the other way.
Fouts trying to think with his man downfield, Charlie Joyner, and I think that's been one of the great successes for them as a combination. Fouts usually able to anticipate Joyner's moves after a play is broken, and that one certainly was broken. The initial pattern disregarded. You try and figure out what's going to happen then, and Joyner and Fouts have been very successful over the years at doing that.
Grew up in San Francisco. His dad was the play-by-play announcer of the 49ers, Bob Fouts, and so he was the ball boy in Kezar. John Brody, his idol. Good protection again.
Charger offensive machine clicking. What a perfect pass. Liam Judson, 49, right on Joyner's tail as he heads across into the end zone. But Fouts had the ball perfectly for him. Joyner able to make the catch. What a nice play.
Second touchdown for Charlie. His fourth catch of the day, leaving him 5 from the NFL all-time record. Benerska hits the extra point. It's 28-21. Now the Chargers right back in it. The rain continues to fall.
Isn't it?
Season touchdown passes. Of course, Fran Tarkington with 342 the all-time, but select company for Dan Fouts, and he certainly deserves that position. 200th touchdown pass with 3 today. He's only one behind Roman Gabriel now for the 11th spot. And the Chargers, more importantly, within 7 points of the unbeaten Dolphins. Here comes Fulton Walker. And with that wet field and a wet ball, anything can happen. It was about this time last year that the Chargers, only 3-7, upset Dallas 9-1 here in a game you might recall. 80 yards for Fouts and company, a little over 4 minutes. And the veteran Charlie Joyner for the touchdown, 19 yards.
Bob Mitchell, newly acquired tight end.
3 quarterbacks have thrown for 400 yards this year. First downs today, Miami. Certainly the advantage. Play action fake and a screen out to Nathan. Actually, that's just a little dump off to Nathan, and it picks up about 12, 13 yards. Well, those three quarterbacks, you got to guess Fouts and Marino, right? Yeah, let's see if we're right. Yes, and Phil Simms of the New York Giants.
Now, that's the one. I couldn't come up with that one. I'm afraid I called a lot of names before I mentioned his, but he has had a good year.
He has indeed, and the Giants are winner today and tied for first place in the NFC East. Marino's done it twice. And he has led Miami to 4 games this year with 500-plus yards of offense. First down at the 37. Nathan ducking out to the 42-yard line, a gain of 4. Gilbert coming in from the left corner to help out Mike Green on the tackle.
Dick, just watching Marino as he sets up behind that center, he never stays still. He's like a dancer out there. You see him shifting his weight back and forth. I think that would be awfully tough on defensive linemen who are trying to watch for movement, because occasionally moving his head, moving his body might draw you off sides. Let's watch him on this play and watch how he's shifting his weight back and forth.
Woody Bennett is smothered after a yard gain. It'll be 3rd and 5.
We'll get a look at Marino calling an audible on this play, and not one that's going to endear him to the coaches as he takes it right up the gut. But watch him shifting back and forth, putting his weight back and forth on his seat, doing it here in part because he's calling the audible, but still awfully disconcerting. There you see the little rocking motion. I think it would be more distinct on another play. Dwight Stevenson driving Billy Ray Smith way off the ball on that. What a fine center he is.
Outstanding run blocker, Stevenson. 3rd down and 5. Marino. Almost intercepted. Right there was Lucius Smith. Intended for Nat Moore, and if Smith pulls that one in, he has nothing but open field for a touchdown. So the crowd perhaps helping the hometown Chargers.
Well, a noise making it difficult for Marino to be heard on his counts, and I'm sure putting added pressure on him. But the pressure here from 33, Lucius Smith, as he almost got that ball away from Nat Moore, and nothing but green sideline turf between him and the end zone.
11 minutes, 6 seconds left in the game. Roby's second punt, his first was for 37 yards. Little Train James is back at the Charger 11. Chargers 91 yards away. Coming up next weekend, golf's greatest foursome, the Skins game, returns to NBC Sports. A single hole by Palmer, wouldn't it?
Do you think your knees would knock a little bit? I got $10 they get me.
Well, Fouts took him 93 yards for a touchdown in the first half. He starts at his own 9, trailing 28-21, and comes out throwing. Wes Chandler, first down at the 22. You have the feeling they're setting up something. They're working on Langford over there underneath, and Chandler would love to go deep.
On that play, Bob Brzezinski, number 59, his first responsibility to destroy the pass pattern of Sievers. Looks back and reads that pass inside. Look how quickly he reacts to that to get a piece of Wes Chandler. Almost made the tackle. Excellent linebacking by number 59, Bob Brzezinski.
10 minutes and 19 seconds left. 28-21. Unbeaten Miami being threatened by the Chargers. Fouts underneath to Sievers. Sievers having his best day as a Charger. That's his 7th catch. Brzezinski, the tackler.
You saw Brzezinski on the prior play trying to knock Sievers off his route. He does it again on this play. Bangs him at the line of scrimmage. He's trying to destroy the timing between the receiver and the quarterback. Now, the ball thrown to Sievers, and he still gets back, gets a piece of the action. He had to get back to a zone on that play. Still got back, got a piece of Sievers, but Sievers got a pretty good piece of turf, enough to get him down to a second and inches.
The light drizzle has stopped. Chargers trying to pour it on the Dolphins. And it's a first down for Jackson. Betters and Camper and the Killer Bee defense make the tackle. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the San Diego Chargers and the National Football League is prohibited. Dan Fouts over 300 yards for the 40th time. That's the all-time record in the NFL, way ahead of Johnny Unitas, who's second place with 26. Play to Jackson. And look at Jackson go all the way to the 50-yard line.
They caught the Miami defense thinking pass. And one of the reasons that Jackson is so effective on this draw play is he just explodes out of the blocks. Look how quickly he's up to speed. Baumhauer didn't even have a chance at him inside, and he almost ran through the tackle of Lyle Blackwood right there.
First down as the Chargers have driven from their own 9 to midfield. A 7-point game. Fouts trying to tie it up to Jackson, and that time tripped up by A.J. Douay. Douay, the #1 pick out of LSU. Interestingly, they ask him a question. They ask all of the players, who's the most respected person in your life? And he listed Shula, President Reagan, and my parents. And in that order. A.J. has some fans here this afternoon.
Certainly does. A lot of the action where the ball is, sometimes the action is away from the football. Charlie Joyner getting more than his share as they bounce him. When we talk about destroying the pattern, that's what they're trying to do there. They keep him from getting to the spot that he wants to be on for that ball.
Fouts to Holohan, and Holohan stopped at the 46. It'll be third down and 6. Rodell Thomas and Charles Bowser with a tackle. 8 yards on the play.
These Chargers throw so much offense at you. They've got people moving around. Fouts last week hit 10 different receivers in that ball game, and I think the injuries have forced Fouts and Zampese and Coryell to really come up with even more offense to take advantage of their people, and they're tougher to defense. Studley said we had to spend a lot of time, extra time in our meetings. I mean, they're tougher than they ever were before. 2 backs, 3 backs, they're throwing it all at us.
Big down at the 45 of Miami. Kozlowski makes a tackle, but it's a first down. Holohan. What an impressive drive by San Diego.
You see Holohan limping. He has a bad ankle. Both he and Sievers out for several weeks with injuries. And after their performances today, you know why this San Diego offense has been sputtering a little bit. You miss great performers like that. We gave you a chance to see the disruption on Charlie Joyner earlier. They're still trying to keep him out of the pattern. On that play, Langford, number 44, jamming him hard at the line.
Fouts looking for a tying score. Jackson out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Pick up a 5. Glenn Blackwood ran him out of bounds. He has become a much improved pass receiver. There were some questions as to whether or not he could really handle the ball coming out of the backfield in that manner, but he's been absolutely perfect today. That's been a good play for San Diego.
What a tough individual he is. He doesn't say a heck of a lot. He's just been very impressive today. And the San Diego offense continues to mix the plays well, mixing the run and the pass.
5:55 left. Jackson again, the workhorse. Close to a first down at the 29-yard line.
And off to Ernest Jackson.
Baumhauer leading the defensive charge. Let's see if it's enough for a first down.
On the tackle, number 59.
Has to be interesting to have 2 players on your line. Baumhauer, honored by Pro Football Weekly as their defensive player of the year, defensive lineman of the year last year. And Doug Betters, honored by AP as their defensive player of the year. So the 2 of them well recognized and playing outstanding football today. Douay coming in for groping. They want the experienced man in there, the bigger man in there.
Buford McGee has the first down to the 26-yard line, and the Charger drive continues.
Against a good defense, you sometimes have to try and take advantage of their strengths, the reaction strengths. This play kind of coming against the grain all the way from the backside. Excellent blocking by the San Diego line, and good running by Buford McGee on that play.
26-yard line. 4.5 minutes remaining. Miami has not lost in a season and a half. 16 in a row regular season. Seavers paying for that reception as Glenn Blackwood from the University of Texas slammed him down.
Well, the Bruce brothers lead their marks on a lot of receivers. In this case, Seavers' first responsibility to block. Now he is the pickup man. He's the outlet man for Fouts. Boy, Blackwood right up in his ribs. You know, I talked to Wes Chandler about playing against Miami, and he said, I remember them very well. He said, 3 years ago. I said, wait a minute, 3 years ago? He said, yeah, 3 years ago, I remember a hit from Glenn Blackwood that he said, I'll never forget as long as it takes. Shook his teeth loose.
2nd and 11, a yard lost on that play. There's a quickie, and Seavers has another catch to the 19, a gain of about 8 more. Seavers has 9 receptions today. His previous personal high was 5.
Stop by number 42, Miles Blackwood.
3:25, and that clock running down as the Chargers putting the heat on Miami. 9 catches, 92 yards for Seavers. Shula asking that defense to dig in. Jackson. He's to the 14 and another first down. It's like a college crowd here in San Diego. Their team is 5-6, but you'd never know it.
They're sure getting something to cheer about today. Jackson continues to pound. The Chargers taking advantage of the fact that the Miami Dolphins have not really been able to control the running game. They haven't done it during the season. They haven't done it here today.
This drive started back at the San Diego 9-yard line. 5 consecutive first downs. And now Fouts looking for the tying score. Wayne Morris dragged down at the 15. Morris getting a chance to handle the football. He's been a blocker all day. He hasn't carried it, and that's his first reception.
And one of the reasons that Fouts is so tough is that he sees all of those open people. Morris was open, but Charlie Bowser did a great job of closing the gap quickly.
And we're at the 2-minute mark, and this could be another one of those fantastic finishes.
Alcoa presents Fantastic Finishes, 1983. It's 24-21, San Francisco over Atlanta.
About to leave his own position in this NFL hierarchy. 2nd and 10. A long time-consuming drive. And now incomplete and no flag as the pass. No flag, and Fouts thought something was wrong, as 88 Holohan argues.
Holohan coming in motion, goes to the outside now, and then breaks into the secondary. Watch right here. He'll get stepped on by Langford on the back of his heels, tripped him down, but that's incidental contact as ruled by the official who saw the play but would not throw the flag. Fouts angry because had he not fallen, I think the Holohan would have had a touchdown on it.
1:56 left. The final. The 49ers win again, 24-17. They're 11-1. Denver about to become 11-1 as they're swamping Minnesota. Will the Dolphins be 11-1? Underneath the Seavers, and he is shy of the first down at the 5.
4th down, a little over a yard to go. Seavers again, the big man, as Fouts goes back to his tight ends. They've helped him all day long. Holohan and Chargers back in the lineup, and Fouts has taken advantage of them. We've got a timeout on the field, Dick.
The ex-Maryland Terrapin, Eric Sievers, what a day, 101 yards, 10 catches. We're coming up on 4th and 1. Wrinkled frown, forehead of Don Coryell. He's made his choice. 4th and 1, just outside the 5. They stay on the ground at Jackson. He has the first down. The Chargers spend their second timeout with 1:30 left.
They are going to measure it, but it looks indeed like they have enough yardage for the first down. Oh, wouldn't that be a tragedy if you lost this one on a mark? And of course, the officials try to mark that from a long ways away. It is a first down. You see Shula blowing out a little bit.
Ooh, McGee. Well, he's taken his hits, and he's also delivered them in this game today. Mark Brown from Purdue, a second-year man, made contact with 1:13 showing on the clock.
Coryell biting his lip as he has in several games in the past few weeks. An overtime possibility last week slipped by. Overtime
Against the Raiders?
Against the Raiders. I mean, he's had them all, hasn't he, Dick?
Second down and goal. Fouts. Touchdown! Drive masterfully executed by Dan Fouts. His 51st pass. That's a record for the pass-happy Fouts in regular season. And here it is to Sievers.
And appropriate that it be the 11th pass of the day for this man. And the second touchdown for Sievers, coming back off the injury.
But they haven't tied it yet.
They've got to get it here, the extra point.
Remember, Betters blocked an extra point to win it last week. He doesn't this time. It's even at 28. The Chargers went 90 yards officially in 19 plays. Took 10 minutes and 6 seconds to tie unbeaten Miami.
And it all finished here. Fouts does a good job of stepping up into the pocket to get away from the rush to deliver that pass to Sievers. And I think someone blew an assignment. He's all alone.
The Dolphins game with the Chargers still in progress. 28-28. Please stay with us. Immediately following football coverage, we'll have the Silver Spoons program and all our NBC Network Sunday evening programs. So stay with us. For those of you in the Midwest and Eastern areas, for our Pacific Coast, those shows at their usual time. Rolf Bernurska, 51 seconds remaining. Kicks it off. Bolton Walker has it. And Walker to the 30, to the 33-yard line goes Walker with 44 seconds left. We welcome those of you who have just been seeing the Kansas City game at Los Angeles, won by the Raiders 17-7. It's tied here in the final minute. Here are all the other scores today. We'll run them through for you. Just a review of all the scores. And we come down to a tie game, 44 seconds for Dan Marino. The Dolphins were ahead 28-14 in the third quarter. Dan Fouts has led the Chargers to 2 touchdowns. The last a 10-minute drive, 19 plays. And now Marino trying to save Miami's unbeaten season. Deflected, incomplete. Intended for more. It appeared that one of the linemen, Ian, perhaps, with a hand on it.
It looked like Chuck Ian got his hand up in front of that football. Keith Ferguson coming around behind to try and put some pressure on as the Chargers run in some fresh troops to try and put the squeeze on Dan Marino. Marino has been explosive all day. It's only taken them about 3 minutes on each of their long drives. They don't have 3 minutes here. They've got to get it down into field goal range.
dumps it off to Moore, who juggles and holds at the 43, but stays in bounds. 30 seconds, and Miami will use a timeout.
Marino all the way over there on top of the play and calling timeout. Nat Moore, not knowing he was going to do that, jumped up, almost ran over Marino trying to get back to the huddle. Ask Ralph Bernerska about that. Last week, it was the Chargers who were in this situation. They were coming down, hoping for a chance to go into overtime. A 46-yarder went to the left. Bernerska unable to do it, but the pressure's on the other side of the line right now.
3rd down and 1 at the 42. There's Clayton to the 35-yard line and a timeout. Oh, what a throw by Marino.
Marino took tremendous pressure. We mentioned courage. A quarterback standing in until the last possible second. Keith Ferguson absolutely leveled him, but he was still able to find the open receiver, Mark Clayton, and deliver the football to him. John Turner just outclassed in the speed department. No way he could stay on it.
That ball right on the numbers.
Here, coming down into the final seconds. The game on the line.
For Don Coryell, a chance to say you beat the unbeaten. For Don Shula, the opportunity to maintain that incredible string of wins and tie an NFL record. This would be their 17th in a row if they win it. And they would clinch a playoff spot. They are 9 yards closer for Von Schamann. They're not going to use that last time out here.
Marino hurrying everyone up.
10 seconds and the clock ticking away. And he's just going to throw this one away. That was just to get Von Schamann on the field. And here comes Uwe Von Schamann with 5 seconds left to try to extend the Dolphin win streak. They've won 11 in a row this year. They finished last season in the regular season with 5. Their 17 would equal a 50-year-old record set by the Bears back in the 30s. And Von Schamann will kick approximately a 43-yarder.
And there'll be a timeout called by the San Diego Chargers here. They want Von Schamann to think about it a little bit longer. Don Coryell talked about the role of his Chargers as spoilers. He didn't like that role. He would rather be fighting for a championship, but he said, that's all we've got left. We're going to try and do it effectively. He has his team in position to do that today, but it all depends on a kick. Now, Von Schamann has had some problems this year for one reason. That is that Kuchenberg was ordinarily a snapper, Dick. And when Kuchenberg left, they had to change a snapper. Jeff Taves does that job now. Jeff was not a center through his college years. They made him into a center, made him into snapping.
It is a 44-yard attempt to win it. San Diego.
Von Schamann getting pressure from the outside from Gil Bird. Just hooked that ball off to the left, and that is so common for a soccer-style kicker. If the timing is not right, that ball tends to hook to the left-hand side. Von Schamann trying to get that one squarely between the uprights, misses the ball.
And if one man in this entire stadium could sympathize with Uwe Von Schamann, it's his counterpart with the Chargers, Rolf Bernerska. Same situation to tie it against Denver last week. Bernerska missed from 46 yards. So they'll go into a 15-minute overtime period. Let's see who gets the ball first. It's coming up Chargers. They'll have the ball first. And that's what they want. With their defense, they want fouls with the ball. We'll see if this is the end of the Miami string. The Chargers and Dolphins at 28. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Tonight.
Game January 2nd, 1982. The Chargers are 4-4, and one of those wins, one of the greatest games ever played in recent memory. The Chargers 41, the Dolphins 38 in the Orange Bowl in the playoffs. That was the game where San Diego jumped out 24-0, and Don Strock came back, and almost the miracle that didn't happen. We had that great trailer play with a lateral to Nathan.
Kellen Winslow, such a big part of that, collapsed several times, came back into the game.
He said he broke 2 sets of shoulder pads in that game. Finally had to borrow Hank Bowers and was afraid he would go bald. Uwe von Schaman to James. Little train to the 31. Buford McGee threw a terrific block. Jim Jensen made the tackle. 26 yards for James.
Chargers have gone long distances today for a number of their touchdowns. 93 yards, 90 yards, 83 yards. Let's see if they can take this one just under 70 yards to the end zone.
John Elway had 5 touchdown passes in the Denver win, and you see Houston about to make it 2 in a row against the Jets. That game still being played in the Astrodome. Just as he was sprinting into the open, caught from behind by Mark Brown, number 51. He's a native of Los Angeles, California, and he has some of his friends and family here to cheer him on.
Quick start, so important for running back, in particular for a running back on a draw play. And Jackson has done that effectively all day long. They were lucky to stop him on that one. They almost had running room to the outside.
Rolf Bernerchka, the Charger kicker. Will he have a chance? Fouts to Severs, and Eric Severs. They call him Jack Armstrong, the All-American boy. He's been everything today.
A complex defense. Severs reads the blitz. It's just the old looky pass. Fouts just took a couple of steps back and put that one out in front of Severs. Severs tucked it away, and he's out just inside the 50-yard line.
Well, those are numbers you'd expect from Kellen Winslow, the man he's replacing. What a job by Severs, who's been injured most of the year, carrying nagging hurts. First down, 49. Looking for Holohan, but he goes to Joyner. Oh, what a play by Langford to break it up. And that was down at the 29-yard line of Miami.
That would have been a big reception. That really would have put them inside of the field goal range of Rolf Bernerchka. You see Schul out there shaking his head. That ball just a whisker away from being caught as Langford stripped the ball. You see him taking those arms inside and actually prying Charlie Joyner's arms apart. Couldn't close it off.
6 defensive backs now for Miami on 2nd and 10. We're in overtime. Miami and the Chargers tied at 28. Ernest Jackson.
Great balance.
He has been brilliant today, playing with a broken right hand. Ernest Jackson, 124 yards, and another Charger first down.
Still be on the ground. He's up now, but he has really taken a beating today. A good block by number 88, Holohan, 60, McKnight, 63, Wilkerson. They all get out there, but it was really Jackson fighting to keep his balance and keep from going down, pulling himself through and getting the first down.
Jackson's running, complimenting Fouts' passing.
Jackson, I think, was hurt on that tackle. Dick, he's still on the sideline.
Buford McGee, 21, has replaced him. Fouts has another man open. Holohan, first down at the 25-yard line.
The Chargers continue to go to their tight ends as they work aggressively against this Miami defense. Miami's done a great job of shutting off the pass during the year, but they can't stop the tight ends of the San Diego Chargers. Holohan and Severs having a field day.
Well, we showed you that graphically earlier, how the majority of the receptions going to tight ends, and it's been even more so this afternoon, even without Kellen Winslow. Buford McGee. And Miami now has has to be thinking, try to force a turnover. There's been only one turnover going in that direction. One interception of Fouts, 3 the other way. 28 all. 10:25 left in the make that 12:19 left in the overtime period. 2nd and 10. At this point, 25-yard line, it's a 42-yard field goal range as they work on Jackson's ankle.
Trainer Rick McDonald trying to get some extra tape and support on that ankle. They'd like to get him back into the ball game.
Dan Fouts 20 yards away from a 400-yard game. In the air. Oh, Brown couldn't reverse his weight and try to get to it, and Fouts bumped hard.
Fouts has been hit very hard during this season. Unusual for him to be sacked a high number of times, but this year they've been getting to him pretty good. He's been sacked 27 times before this ball game. They knocked him down once early in the first half here, but look at the shot here. Glenn Blackwood right in from the outside on the blitz, the safety blitz. Fouts had his arm going forward so they don't take the sack, but boy, that hurts.
They are in field goal range. We'll see how wide open Fouts and the Chargers play it here. Will they just try to set up Inerska, or will he go for it all? They're going to set up Inerska. Inerska's going to go all the way for a touchdown! Chargers, in an upset in overtime, have knocked Miami off the unbeaten perch. 34-28.
It really appeared that they were going to be content to try the field goal as they ran in an obvious passing situation, but Buford McGee hopped it into the secondary and then hopped it into the end zone. You see Dan Marino heading over. Congratulations from Tom Bass, defensive coordinator for the San Diego Chargers. And I'm sure there's a great deal of disappointment on that Miami sideline. But Shula said it yesterday. He said if we have to lose one, let it be now. We want to win the big ones at the end of the season.
That's right. The one you don't want to lose is the last one. Here it is again. Buford McGee. Jackson being attended to on the sidelines. The rookie from Mississippi. Obviously his biggest play in the NFL, breaking the tackle of Kozlowski and winning it for the Chargers. We'll be right back.